Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I had quite a few of you when I asked about what you'd like to see. I had a couple of you guys talk to me about wanting to see my completed albums of my kids. And just kind of a little backstory. I was never a chronological scrapper. I consider myself one more so now, but not 100%. I used to be whatever just kind of gave me, that creativity, sparked that creativity. I would go and just scrapbook whatever. But I found about 2 years ago that I hadn't even completed an album yet. And I said, gosh, I've been scrapbooking for over 20 years and I don't even have an album done yet. So during that time, I really kind of concentrated on my daughter's first album. And then when I kind of would get burned out a little bit or just wanted something different, of course, I would scrapbook other things. So I would say more so now, I am definitely more of a chronological scrapper because I'm forgetting stories, and when I would look back on details or videos, that's what kind of would help me jog my memory and be like, oh yeah, I remember that. So I do still create current events, but current events are becoming less and less. My kids are, I have a teen now, son, he's 13, and my daughter is preteen. She's 12. They're exactly 18 months apart. And so I don't have as many photos. So it's very easy for me to scrap current events and be like, okay, now what? I'm already done with that. So I will say, being so far behind, I did find also 2 years ago, really fell in love with Project Life. I tried Project Life weekly. It wasn't my jam. My days really don't change much, especially when I am at work, and we come home, it's like the same thing, redundant thing every single day. The only thing that changes is probably our clothes and our meals, and that is it. So that really didn't work for me, but I really enjoyed when I was starting to do this, of going back and wanting adding more pictures by the month. And I really, really enjoy that. And I actually do it now, even for their current layouts. So without further ado, let's just jump right into this. Okay, so Basic Gray. I thought this was perfect because you guys all know I'm kind of dabbling into those older collections that didn't have any embellishments. I even still have some left because I bought 2 packages. This was the Basic Gray Alyssa collection, Sweet Pea Alyssa collection, and I also had the boy one, and I cannot remember what the boy name was. I don't know if I have any more paper of that left, but that's what I used. And I cannot tell you who is what. I really don't remember, but this is what I created. I even used some really old stickers from when I worked at a scrapbooking store. And I just kind of layered up and kind of went by colors to help me out to, obviously fill this page. So this was the day, obviously the next day that I had her, I think. So we were only at the hospital one day. Actually, no, it was that evening. That's when it was. All right, so I had to take these out of, ooh, you hear that? This is what I'm talking about. Oh, so I had that glue dot. Actually, this is what it was. And it doesn't stay. So I am probably, after I get done filming this, I'm going to use my tacky glue to adhere everything down because this is all falling apart. All right, so here's, still at the hospital. And I added some of those flowers that were really big. This was by Making Memories. This was not Prima. I actually didn't ever buy anything from Prima when they came out with those, but used a lot of die cuts. That's what helped me kind of fill up my pages, and use really chunks of other paper to, again, fill up the layouts, and more dies. Just lots of layering. Brad's Dear Lizzie, and obviously Dear Lizzie was not around during Basic Gray. Rub-ons. Oh, look at those rub-ons. They need to come out with more rub-ons. I love them. Okay. Yeah, so just filling out lots and lots of, for my papers, using thickers. I'm not going to go too long into this. Just doing what I can to fill out pages. I think these were already pre-done, and so I just did the rest with the curved corner. This is when we brought her home. And of course, this is obviously brother was completely smitten. He was definitely a good big brother to her. He was so happy. He wanted to play with her right away, and I had to keep explaining, she can't play yet. She's still little. All right, so this is very, very special to me because this is my father-in-law who passed away 3 years ago. And unfortunately, he came out to see the kids, you know, to see her, you know, because we just brought her home, and also to see his great-grandson for the first time. And after that, he became very sick. So he couldn't travel anymore. So that was the last picture, actually the only picture I have of him with his grandkids. So just more pictures that I try to add in. Lots of layering wood chips. I mean, not wood chips. Oh my gosh. I'm not gardening right now or to my yard. Wood veneers. Just anything, like I said, when I, you know, have stuff like this that did not have embellishments, you know, trying to find a pattern paper that has a lot of colors, to that way you could pop it with, you know, the paper that doesn't, you know, have any embellishments. And that helps you kind of build your collections, die cuts, even neutrals, lots of neutrals, wood grain, wood veneers, enamel dots, anything to fill up those pages is what I would suggest for a tip. This is my dad meeting her for the first time. My mom stayed with us for a couple weeks. We don't have family that live here, so it was pretty much my husband and I on our own, but my mom stayed with us for a couple weeks just to help out, and yeah, and then obviously to visit, and then my dad was able to come down. And then my sister, she lives in Hawaii, so she was had just came down to visit. So yeah, it was a really good time. And then, I mean, you can see all basic gray, but everything on top of it, minus a few things, is not basic gray. But man, I'm enjoying all these rub-ons that I see. Sequins is another thing to help fill up your page. Flares. Pretty much anything can work. You just gotta think outside of that box and don't be afraid to go in there and just jump all in and use it. So, yep, more basic gray. You know, just doing the typical classic shapes. That always helped out. Using a silhouette, ooh, could really help fill up a page. Here we got her photos done, and this is just the same photo. I didn't have, I think, a 5x7 of this one, and I layered a ton of vellum underneath it. I just like the look of that to make it really soft. Add a little bit of mixed media. And this is where you can see where I was starting to, okay, what else can I do besides the basic gray? I think at this point I was also running out of paper because I didn't want to make it all just the same exact. I think there was like maybe 10 different pattern papers. So this is where I kind of started expanding and, you know, building on top of the basic gray. Doing a lot of mixed media here. This is when I was really starting to dabble into mixed media, even on die cuts. Adding stamping. That's another thing too with basic gray, like, or with Chatterbox or Over the Moon. If, you know, stamping. All these good supplies that we have that we can just build on pages. Here's more of the basic gray rub-ons. Some memory, My Mind's Eye. Die cuts. And then I forgot who makes these. I think it was Crate Paper of the photos. And then here's another one. I think this is K.I. Memories, K & Company. I don't know. But it was a really thin paper that came with the album. And I used that because I thought it was so pretty and I just love the colors. Ah, so itty bitty. Love it. Okay. More die cuts, rosettes. Here's that rosette. I love those, but they're just so thick. Very, I mean, look at just very subtle, even just white background. And then you could even do pops of basic gray in there as well. This is going into, ooh, the crepe paper, I forgot what it was called. I just talked about it on my last video. This is where I was just like, oh, I love this. It was so darling. I don't regret using my basic gray of that Alyssa collection because I still think it's gorgeous. But I do wish, you know, because this had so much to use. But I had fun. I'm glad I was still able to incorporate these. And I'm still incorporating it in her albums, that collection. This was when I tried stitching for the first time. I just kind of poked a tool and, well, first I did my own handwriting and then I just poked a tool and then it's not 100% perfect, but it will do. Added a bunch of stickers. Yeah, so cute. Mixing cream with white, that didn't bother me. Like I said, as long as I find balance in it, I'm usually pretty good with it. And then here is my daughter and I. She's getting bigger. Oh. This is Glossy Accents. This is when I was trying Glossy Accents for the first time. So I would, I think, paint it or use something and then seal it with Glossy Accents. I can't remember what I used though, because that was, gosh, this was a couple years ago. Having fun with those banners. I have a ton of these by Basic Gray. Here's another page. I just thought she was so cute in her little car carrier in a stroller. Adding some more embellishments using my die cut. This is actually newer Basic Gray, which is funny. So in the beginning I had really old, probably 10 years time difference, and then this was their newer stuff. But they still didn't have any embellishments to go with it. This was, I think, called Lily Kate. So it still wasn't up with their newer line. Here's another one. I love doing the scallops. I love scallops. This is when the trend of the doilies were really in. Just using my punches if I didn't have a whole lot to go with stuff. See, and look at this. So because I had already used a lot of this paper, I was needing white cardstock. I just flipped it over because on the back was white cardstock, and that's what I would do. And I have no problems doing that. Even with paper I don't like, I do that. Okay, it's kind of like when, you get two-sided of like pattern paper and we're deciding which one do we like, maybe a side we don't like, and then we end up flipping it over and use the back side. So that's how I look at it. Not letting anything go to waste. I don't even know who makes this. I don't remember. Just adding wood veneers again, washi tape, sequins. Yep, this was for my son's birthday. Oh, look at how cute. Look at that smile. Look at oh, I want to eat those cheeks. All right, and then just adding more rub-ons. This is by Mind's Eye. Really like this color palette. And I have this one here. This is going back to that Basic Gray original. This is a Alyssa collection, so you can kind of tell. So this is probably when I was trying to use up the rest of that paper. This was by another company. I have 2 packages of this stuff. Anytime that I have so much, because I used to buy it in 2s or 3s way back in the day, especially when I worked at a scrapbooking store, I tend to use all those that I still like for my daughter's friends' albums, because there's a couple of her best friends that, one moved away, another one now, my daughter has switched schools, so I've known her mom since, kindergarten, and they were best friends, so I'm making an album for her as well. So I use stuff that I have a lot of. Okay, here's another one. This was her first Halloween costume. It was a little ladybug. I'm just using lots of die cuts. I'm all testing. Did I use, oh, see, look how easy that falls off, guys. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. So now if you're wondering, well, why do you have the tape runner still, Desiree? I have a whole drawer full of this tape runner. And you know me, I don't let anything go to waste. So what do? I print from my computer all of my journaling most of the time on my printer, and sometimes I have the journaling cards for Pocket Life, or I'll even just run it through, you know, and just have it printed on any type of cardstock. So in order to hear it down, I use this because I know that it's very easy to come right off because it's repositional. And so I glue it down, I run it through my computer, and then when I get done, I can just, you know, it doesn't matter because I just glue it down anyways with tacky glue. All right, so yeah, here's more of the My Mind's Eye using stickers. This is when I was truly trying to hone in Shamel. I had found Shamel, oh no, that was back in 2Ps when she had first become a garden girl. And I was really, I just loved all the layering, which is so funny because I'm not really good at it. I'm not like her. I try, but I mean, I think I did pretty good. I, you know, took some of her tips of labels and stuff like that, tucking everything in. All right, so here's my next one. Look at that face. And they're not even the best pictures, guys. I mean, but I used to worry about that back then, you know, years ago, where it's like, oh, I just didn't take great pictures. I don't worry about that anymore because at the end of the day, my mom handed me just a few photos. I don't know if she has any more in storage. Some of them got probably ruined, but barely anything. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's, you know, those snapshots are going to be so meaningful. My kids really enjoyed. I mean, I think I had maybe 10 or 15 pictures my mom handed me. It was not much, and a lot of like faces were cut off or weird angles. And my kids really enjoyed, like, that was you, Mom, as a little girl? That's you? I had an E.T. cake. And I was like, yeah, that's me. So just going back on it, it really doesn't matter the quality or anything. It's, you know, just the photo, the story itself. So here's some more, I think, My Mind's Eye. And I was really being brave, gosh, during this time of writing on the actual layout. I probably have some errors in there somewhere, I'm sure. All right, so here's another one. This was a challenge. I had really fun with this on my channel one time. I had all of this vellum embellishments. This was with, I think, My Sweet Girl crepe paper, or My Girl or something like that. There was two of them that were really close with the same title. One was My Mind's Eye and the other one was crepe paper. I only had the vellum, and my challenge on my channel was to just use nothing but the vellum, because vellum is tricky. We all know that with how it you glue it down, and I just ran everything through my Xyron. I have one of the bigger ones, and I ran everything through my Xyron. I used some staples, some gold ones, which I'm surprised that they don't make gold staples for as much gold that we use. All right, so then here is a pocket page. This was Christmas time, not a lot of photos, just really simple. You know, snapped some pictures, added a few photos, and that was it. It's usually a very hustle and bustle day, so I usually don't get very many photos of that. All right, so here's using some die cuts that I didn't have the collection to, and I just tied up with some really old paper that, I mean, this is so thin, from 20 years ago when or gosh, probably even 1998 paper. And I just paired it all up with that and created this page. This was for their photos for Christmas time. See what I mean by washi tape? This is what I use my washi tape for because I find that washi tape doesn't stick very well. It doesn't, to me, it just doesn't last. All right, so then, unless I like add more adhesive. All right, so then here's some other photos. This is when she was starting to walk, and we were really proud of her. She was really I even have the video of that. And this is when I had ordered from Shutterfly, and it has like this orangey tint to it, but I mean, it kind of goes with the orange and of the layout. But again, like I said, I don't worry too much as long as I just have it captured. I did this recently because I was trying to finish up on her album. What was I trying to? No, you know what it was? I was realizing, guys, that I just did this recently. A lot of photos that I wasn't in. I'm always behind the camera. So there really wasn't too many photos. And I was flipping through it and she was like, Mom, there's not too many photos of you. And I was like, oh my gosh, I never even realized that. I was so busy scrapbooking, or I'm so busy taking photos that I don't really think about that. And so I went back and tried to fill any photos that I had of me actually being present. I just did the layout. So this one I actually didn't do too long ago. It was actually just recently. I think it was before my 2-year break on YouTube. So I guess 2 years, gosh, 2 years, I can't believe that. Anyways, but yeah, it feels like just yesterday. And here's another one. This is, I think, Studio Calico paper. God, I love this paper. Maybe it was, no, I think it was Studio Calico. This paper is so pretty. I added this. This was so much fun. I have these. I forgot what they're called. Like a book, like you put them on a book label or something, but it's all metal and it's by Queen & Company. I have a ton of these. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to use this and I need to bring these out because these are so much fun. It just adds a whole different look, different texture going on that you just don't see anymore. Added a paper clip. I love these hearts. I don't even know where I got these hearts, but man, I wish I had a ton more. All right. Here's another page. Very simple. Get into that mixed media that I was trying. I could tell when like I was doing stuff kind of similar, pretty close within each other, because this is all when I was trying to experiment with mixed media. Okay. This was her birthday, so I wanted to add more photos. So this was the pocket page first. So it's gonna goes like this in the album, and then I just added more, a little bit of Dear Lizzie, and it looks like October Afternoon that I kind of mixed up. So totally two different looks, but I made them work. And then here was my like layout that is in the very earlier days of my channel. This thing got so much views. I was shocked. I had like over 1,000 on this one. But yeah, this was a layout that I did using some watercolor paper, Dear Lizzie. Actually, someone asked me how I did it because they're like, how did you make that frame smaller? All I did was cut it and then I kind of hid the seam the best that I could. This was a stamp that I have, some watercoloring, using it looks like more stencils. I painted on some wood veneers. Yeah, this is a real favorite of mine as well. I love how this turned out and I love her expression. So that was her 1-year birthday. And then this one was really popular. I took Paige Evans, her die cut, and that she offers in the Silhouette store. Someone asked me, well, I didn't see that one because I only saw the one that had a 11. It only does have 11. What I did was I just printed it twice and then added an additional, in fact, it's this one right here. I added an additional frame and I kind of just tucked it in and over, made sure everything was lined up as if it was part of that, and you really can't tell. I also did that for my sons as well because I thought this was really cute just to tie in when she first started, because I had those crepe paper from the Little You collection that I wanted to use up. Like I said, I always try to think of ways to use up as much as I can, and all the way up till where she was 12 months. So that's my daughter's first album share. I will eventually show you guys her second share if you guys enjoyed that. And then, yeah, I will do the same thing for my sons as well. But in the meantime, guess what I'm going to be doing right now while all the papers are out? I'm going to glue everything down with Tacky Glue. That is what I'm going to do today, right now. All right, everybody, it is Saturday, so I hope you are enjoying your weekend with your loved ones, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.